Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Ghost and Horror Stories video. I thought I would mix one of these in here while I'm continuing your cryptids and monsters suggestions, so please keep them coming. This one comes from the reddit.com website. They're from the subreddit called The Truth Is Here. That's a playlist where I put more of the mysterious stuff there, so it doesn't really fall into the categories of ghosts and spirits or anything else involving aliens, UFOs, and so on. It's just a weird mishmash of things. So I thought I would mix this one in here. But it comes from a user by the name of BoomerC5, and they titled theirs as Strange Dancing Silverface Person by Lake. When I was reading this information, it baffled me. I have no idea exactly what this is. It could in actuality just be another person, somebody else just either playing a prank or doing something unusual. But let me know what you guys and gals think with regards to this creepy encounter. So here's what they state. This story takes place about a year and a half ago, so my mind is a bit fuzzy, but it was one of the most strangest and weirdest events I've ever experienced. At the time of this story, I was a freshman in college. I am a very introverted person and have only made a few friends throughout my time in college, about 3 or 4 friends, in fact. Almost at the time, I had a bit of a fishing phase where I loved fishing. I still do, but at that time, I loved to go almost every day. I only really fished the common freshwater fish, such as bass, sunnies, a few catfish, etc. I was looking to go for something bigger, and so I was looking to catch carp. My college campus does have a lake and does stock it for students to fish from. My school isn't near a gas station, shopping center, or anything of the sort, so I couldn't just go walk to get fishing supplies, and I didn't have a car either, so I was really only dependent on what I brought from home. Carp are also very sloppy fish, so they will eat just straight up food, anything that can produce a pungent odor. So I could get some food from the dining hall, and whatever I didn't finish, I could in turn fish with. Carp also prefer wet, sticky, rainy, or overcast weather and are more active during the darker parts of the days. And so I sat in my room bored around 6 to 7:30ish, and when I started hearing raindrops out the window, I didn't immediately go straight to fishing. Rather, I just went to the dining hall at dinner and then came back with leftovers to retrieve my rain jacket, boots, and fishing gear. I was taking my time, so by the time I arrived at the lake, it was now 8 o'clock. Now, this lake is a pretty modest size. You could see probably 90% of it regardless of where you stand. 3/4 of it is bare grass, where a walking bath walks by the remaining bit of trees and then other brush. And so I stood on the bank and threw my line in the water. Leaning against a tree, I couldn't go on my phone because of the rain, so my line was focused on my line until something caught my attention. I spotted a person, or at least what I assumed to be a person, right on the outer edge of where the trees and the brush begin. Now, it was a rainy night and street lamps don't stretch to where they were standing, so take it what I say with a grain of salt, but they were wearing light white colored pants, big black sweatshirt, and no shoes, and just what appeared to be socks. They were standing in a very marshy, swamping area, as well as I should mention. If they weren't getting completely soaked from the head down with rain, well, they were certainly getting soaked from the feet up with mud. There was also some black box with a small white light coming out of it, which pierced through the night, almost insanely bright, though it was a very small light. I'd assume it was a 1/4 inch big from where I was standing, but the amount of power that it had was incredible. They would walk back and forth from the edge of the lake, look at the lake, and then skip and dance back behind the tree multiple times, all while picking up this small cube and then pointing the light in the direction of different areas. Going back again behind the trees, revealing themselves at the lake's edge, skip back behind, reveal themselves to move the box, go back behind the tree, and just keep doing this all over again. I watched them do this multiple times, making my presence known by making noises and such, but at this point, I was more entranced by them rather than by my fishing. It wasn't until they went back behind a tree, this time walking normally, stayed behind it for an uncomfortable amount of time before walking slowly to the lake's edge, and then it was almost like a sixth sense, they suddenly looked directly at me. However, from only the light emitting on them, I could see now this a metallic, shiny, silvery sheath covering their entire face. No holes cut out except for the eyes or mouth. Now, you may think it could just be a clear face protector, but I saw what I saw. They stood there almost staring into my soul for about 30 seconds, and not once did I look away. I don't even think I blinked. But they turned, and I saw that they walked into the brush, leaving that small cube on the ground. And then they walked down to what I assume was the walking path, which would have led down to the trail that I was standing on. And so I went to my tackle box and I grabbed my pocket knife from my pocket, hoping I wouldn't have to use it, although I didn't know I wouldn't have to, as I felt that light shine on my face from the cube. And when that happened, I immediately looked up and it was now facing me. I had had enough. I packed up everything quickly and I was walking back towards my dorm. Then I heard manic footsteps, very much barefoot steps, and so I ran back to the staircase leading back to the main campus, but not without looking down that foot trail. I saw what was my final look into that figure, and they were sprinting in the opposite direction of my own with their arms up in the air, not screaming or anything. And so I got back to my dorm safe and sound. Nothing happened the rest of the night, but I returned to the lake early in the next morning before my classes, and I found what appeared to be horse hoof prints, though very exaggerated points on the top in the shape of a bloated V. And so I saw that the footsteps wear into the grass and the thing left going back and forth behind the tree, but I didn't find that black box either. Now, normally I would say that's maybe some kind of drunk or high student, but that doesn't explain their extremely weird behavior, those weird footsteps in the drying mud, or that shiny face that pierced my soul. I'm not sure what I met that night, but I'm not sure I also want to know. Then that's it. That's everything from this user Boomer C5. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that experience here. All around just weirdness, right? This is 100% one of the strangest tales I have ever heard. Again, I don't know if this categorizes into anything in particular. I don't think it falls into the world of aliens, because I don't remember aliens doing anything like this in some of my other past encounters that I've read here. It doesn't seem like it's in the world of cryptids either. Like, I can't think of any cryptid that does weird dances with a shiny metallic face and then also has this very bright light. It's just all around a weird situation. Most things point, and then some of the comments as well with regards to this post, and what I was originally thinking too, is that it's just a regular person. It's just somebody that's just weird, like they're doing something strange out there. One person even posted maybe they were a filming student doing something for a project, some kind of art test or something else that's out there that they're filming themselves for, and then this other user just happened to come up upon them. The only thing though is where it threw things out the window is the fact that there were those hoof footprints at the end. Like in terms of involving that metallic sheath face, you can kind of explain again of it being some kind of face shield or something else that the person, whoever that weird person was essentially, putting themselves, like put them over their face. Like that's easy to make. You can even use simple everyday materials, including spray paint and other things, to make it look like something else entirely different. Same thing with that bright light. You can get a very bright light from eBay and just use something like that. And then the way they were running around and the way they were sprinting and their arms up in the air, not making noise, that's just down to a regular person choosing to do that. But the fact that there's those horse hoof prints that are there in the ground and nothing else seemingly related to regular footprints as well, that definitely made it seem otherworldly. Like, what could that be? What could that essentially cause those kind of hoof prints without finding regular footprints as well? It's unfortunate that the user didn't mention them seeing this thing, whatever it was, if it wasn't a regular person, like seeing at the bottom of their feet and then realizing, hey, they don't have feet, they have hooves. But again, it was nighttime. There was no light. The user mentioned that the street lights, nothing else was nearby at all. Pretty much, actually, the only light was the light emanating from whatever this thing's little boombox thing was, the one that was emanating that very bright light. So they weren't able to see the rest of the figure. But the fact that they saw those hoof prints afterward, that's very, very interesting stuff. But let me know. Let me know what you guys and gals think. What is this? Is this just a regular person creating some weird art project? Is this some strange being of some sort that is there in the lake? Apparently there nearby that college. Who knows? Let me know in the comments below. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.